Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Quality Leaders panel discussion. We will get started in just a few moments, but let me go over some information first. A quick reminder of our benefits that come with your annual subscription. If you're ever unable to attend live, we do record and upload these for viewing whenever it's convenient for you. The second benefit is that you get to know other members, log in to see profiles, and we're glad to make any introduction. If you're wrestling with key issues or discussions, we strongly encourage you to reach out to our members. It is very easy to post questions, and our community of fellow professionals is always happy to help. After each meeting, we generate summaries with key takeaways and learning nuggets, so you can easily reference them and put them into action. If at any time you have a question, click anywhere on the slide and post it under comments. Achieving quality requires every person in an organization to be dedicated to a concept and activity trying to achieve and maintain top-level performance. Quality leaders must learn to work across departments and throughout organizations to achieve goals. Today, we are going to discuss how leaders can best encourage stakeholders to engage with quality. Now let's meet the speakers who will be discussing maintaining quality for all employees, departments, and services. Sachin, could you please introduce yourself and tell us your title?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me here, first and foremost. My name is Sachin Khanna, and I am a Senior Manager of Engineering at Sam's Club E-Commerce, part of the Walmart Global Tech organization. And I manage the engineering efforts for our AdTech business, as well as associate-facing internal tools. I have an extensive background in quality engineering and happy to be part of this panel discussion. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us. Fernando, it's your turn. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Oh, yes, of course. It's a pleasure to be here. Hello, everyone. My name is Fernando Forquet, and I work for a Nissan motor company based in Yokohama, Japan. I'm in charge of network operations and customer quality for our Americas region, so the western part of the U.S. And quality was not specific to the vehicle quality, but to the retail and experience quality from a customer and consumer perspective. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much for being with us. And we have Rohit also. Could you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Maria. Very happy to be here. Hi, everyone. My name is Rohit Mehta. I am a Senior Director at Here Technologies. We are the leading location services provider in the world, and I lead product quality analytics as well as functional safety at Here. And my team and my primary job is to understand how our products behave when it's in our hands of our customers, its use cases, and how does it behave against reality. Very happy to be here.
Wonderful. We're so glad that you're here. This is going to be so interesting because we have such a global companies represented in such an interesting times that we live in. So we're so looking forward to hear what you have to say. And we're going to open this panel with the first question, which is, how do you communicate quality goals across departments? Do you solicit feedback of insights from other leaders, employees, or customers? And if so, how? Sachin, could you please start and tell us how Walmart and Sam's Club guys do it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that question. So the quality goals are kind of centric to everything that we do at Sam's Club E-Commerce. What I meant to say about that is quality is infused in our day-to-day activities and right from the project inception. It's not an isolated discipline, but rather sort of ingrained in everything that we do. Sam's Club E-Commerce, we are a very data-driven company, and we definitely, have great sort of confidence in our goal setting, and so quality is at the core of the goals and the key results that we have defined for a quarter or for a given year. and so therefore it's everyone's responsibility to ensure that when we are serving the experience on the Sam's Club website or any channel for that matter, that's delivered with highest quality, a bug-free experience for our customers. And so, in other words, the quality is communicated top-down, and it's everyone's responsibility to ensure that we serve the highest experience. In terms of like soliciting feedback, yes, we do take signals into account, signals from various channels, could be, leaders within the company, observing industry standards, adopting latest tools, technologies, and processes. And also based on our past experience with projects, based on the experience taking all the projects live in the past couple of years and observing trends from those. So yeah, taking all those signals into account, we do, sort of set quality standards. And another thing I wanted to mention was that quality has different dimensions to it. It could be, types of quality, different quality processes, artifacts, metrics. So all of that goes into account while defining the quality goals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rohit. How about your company? How would you communicate quality across the departments? What are the tools you use?
Yeah, just adding to everything as Sachin said, at here we have quality which is integrated to our day-to-day operations. So it starts from top down when we set out the strategy for here for the year. We have a standalone mandate for quality, which gets into what we call it as the vision statement and execution and metrics for all of our teams. And quality is a key component there. So all the leaders, all the functional leaders have a quality dimension in their strategy for a particular year. From there, we ensure that not only we get feedback from our customers, so we have an extensive system of customer feedback loop, which through our customer success teams and others is integrated into the quality strategy for the function and the company. We further isolate and understand different operational quality issues that exist, and that feedback is integrated into the operations and engineering domains as part of our quality assurance processes. So the software standards that we use or the operation principles that we use is integrated through that. And finally, what we also ensure is that we conduct what is known as a quality management review, where we aggregate information through all of our different feedback loops, all through our customer, which is our sales organization, from our product teams, from our marketing, as well as our engineering and operation teams, who get feedback directly from our customers, gets consolidated, and it is agreed and discussed at a here level, and then that further drives down decision making on quality imperatives that need to be strengthened across the organization.
Thank you so much, Fernando. How about Nissan? How do you provide that quality feedback across the departments, the communication quality?
Yes, well, I think there's a lot of similarities between what Sachin and Rohit mentioned, and maybe it's a structural attribute of larger organizations. At Nissan, we are fortunate that there is a chief quality officer who sits on the executive board, and so there is from the highest level of leadership focus on quality, and then how that makes its way both across the organization and down through the organization is quite similar, I would say, to what's been mentioned. It's included in objectives and strategy. It's included in measurement and governance. where we solicit quite a bit of ideas and feedback. Yes, it's internal through employees, but because the nature of our business is through external distribution and external partners, we also try to solicit feedback and ideas from those partners. And that also includes third-party sources. In automotive, it's very common to have external ratings for the experience that's provided and the quality of the product as well. So we take both internal, external through our partners, and then third-party feedback to help us to shape and to improve our quality goals and our quality management practices.
Thank you. Yeah, a company takes quality seriously when there's a chief quality officer in the board. That's a very good thing. My second question is, how do you hold those of your team or across your organization accountable for quality, clarifying responsibilities, and measuring whether goals are being met? Rohit, could you please start answering this question?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think measurement of quality, as somebody said earlier, it has multiple dimensions to it. I think the first piece that we have tried to do is similar to what Fernando said, through our HERE quality management structure, is to build HERE quality culture at HERE. So that starts with extensive onboarding of our new employees, also our existing employees, into an annual training of quality practices that HERE has. We have a clear HERE quality policy that we all need to adhere to, and it touches all domains from sales, marketing, to operations, to engineering and product management as a whole. From there, what you also introduce is we HERE follows a strategy which it's followed by all functions known as VSEM, which in short stands for Vision, Strategy, Execution, and Metrics. So each team and each functional leader have execution measures for the year, and followed by metrics that you measure them against too. So everybody at HERE can look at a functional leader's strategy for the year. How far they're progressing, are they on track, and are they delivering the desired objective with the required quality. From there, we also drill down to individual objectives for each of the employees, where quality is a key paramount feature in there. And then we have quality in line assurance processes that are built in, which operates on day-to-day basis.
Thank you so much. Fernando, how about you guys? How do you, how your organization keeps accountable or accountability for quality and clarifying responsibilities in measuring whether goals are met?
Of course, and I think this is something for us that is always evolving because our organization is so matrixed. There isn't really one methodology that really instills accountability across all departments. What exists today is a combination of what I would consider to be a very tight governance process, where departments and even companies within the company all have layered governance. So there's visible accountability there. And the right stakeholders are involved for progressing ideas and eliminating roadblocks. The second method that we use, and this is more operational level, is the PDCA methodology: Plan, Do, Check, Act. And this is incorporated both at an individual working level and a team working level. So there's a built-in mechanism for accountability. But when it comes to our external partners, I've already mentioned that we distribute through other partners. Really, it's about finding their role in our overall corporate targets, and then implementing the right remuneration or recognition to support the achievement of that versus an internal program that could maybe have some type of a punitive or a negative consequence. So it's a combination, especially with external. We're a little more limited in terms of what we can use for accountability, and so from that standpoint, we do try to use positive motivators.
Thank you so much. Sachin, how about more in terms of club? How do you guys do that?
Yeah. I completely agree with what Rohit and Fernando have added. They were spot on with their answers on how various individuals in the organization are held accountable for quality. It's the same here at Stanford Club e-commerce. I just wanted to add a few more things to those answers. I guess the accountability at various levels in the organization, whether it be a quality engineering leader versus an individual who's actually working on the project, may be a little different in terms of accountability, in the sense a leader may be very focused on quality metrics. For example, they could be very focused on number of production defects that slip through, or how's the test automation coverage looking like? How's the code coverage? They may be very focused on that. Not to say that an individual may not, but metrics especially are important for quality leaders to be aware of and very close to. For individuals who are working on projects on a day-to-day basis, they are, I would say at Stanford Club e-commerce, we do have tools and technologies in place that facilitate that process. So they can refer to these tools or dashboards to get an understanding of where do they stand with their quality metrics. And it's expected of them to be able, be aware of how they're progressing against some of those defined standards as per the dashboard. And, also have that as a success criteria for whatever project methodology they're following. Let's say, we have a mix of teams who follow Kanban or Scrum methodology. So if you are following Scrum, the sprint success criteria has to meet a certain threshold of quality. And quality, as I was saying previously, has different dimensions. You could have, functional integration, and these days, accessibility is pretty sort of something that organizations are looking to embed in their day-to-day work, security, performance. So all those are different aspects to the quality that should be also considered and should be part of the goals. And all it goes with accountability. That's what I add. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we're going to go to the next question, which some of you already mentioned and kind of made the bridge to it, mentioning cross-department dynamics and communication. But here is my third question. What kind of cross-department quality training does your company provide? And let's start with Fernando.
Yeah, my pleasure. This is truly an area where I think we can improve quite a bit, because I would say across the entire organization there's probably no quality training that is consistent and uniform within several divisions of the organization. An example being sales and marketing. We do have internal brand training, and that includes, of course, the components that make up brand, but also our values and our customer promise. And so the sales and marketing organization does receive quality training. The manufacturing organization also receives quality training, but not aligned to that same brand training. Outside of those two divisions, I think we've got a real opportunity to find how to incorporate training. So I'm very interested to hear what the others may have to share on how they achieve this.
Rohit, would you tell us, do you have the same experience at here or?
Well, yeah. No, we do have a little unique experience. So I forgot to mention, right? So as Fernando was mentioning, as an OEM, we are a key OEM provider. So historically, one of the things that we have, and our quality requirements have also been created by our customers. So for the past about 30 years, we are an ISO 9001 company. So it's an ISO standard that we follow. And that is something I mentioned earlier as part of our quality culture. We educate and inform our teams through a centralized every year training that is released to our new and existing employees as part of our compliance and governance program. But in addition, we also have new requirements that are generated by our customers as we are into multiple segments. So from our automotive segments, we also have to enable our teams on automotive-oriented quality standard, which is something called ACE5, which basically stands for Automotive Software Performance Improvement and Capability Determination, something that we all aspire to. As I lead functional safety, one of the elements as the industry is moving more towards more autonomous use cases, there is a new standard that's evolving that we have started to provide that to our key team members in our customer success, as well as our engineering teams who need to adhere to such standards. And then we also engage our teams who are managing our facilities around ISO 27001 and other security requirements that come through as part of our quality structure. So again, as Fernando said, it's a fairly complex problem to have to get everybody on the same standard. Because of the nature of the business, we have anchored on ISO 9001, so that's our go-to operational quality measured every day. But we are extending that to multiple domains, and that's where the challenge is for all of us to kind of further improve as an organization.
Thank you so much. Sachin, how about you? What is your experience with the department quality training at Walmart?
Yeah, I would have to say that we're quite fortunate here at Walmart Global Tech to have a rich set of resources that are made available to all the associates to increase their awareness and quality and other areas of technology. There are Walmart being, we being part of the Walmart umbrella, we have a lot of resources at disposal in terms of trainings that occur throughout the organization. There has been a greater emphasis on increasing quality awareness in the last couple of years. And, that has really boosted the motivation to be better at software quality. And so, yeah, I think that has been a really positive sort of a shift in momentum. And so, yeah, quality training, certifications, if an individual is interested in exploring a certain area of technology, they are empowered to go get certified and then conferences, right? Not only within the organization, but you have so many resources available to you too. But I think in addition to, what the department provides, it's also at something that an individual has to pursue. So the cultural shift, I think the other leaders were talking about, comes slowly. And while the company can do so much, it's also the individual themselves who have to prioritize quality, right, in the day-to-day work when they're writing code, when they're deploying code. They need to make sure to keep those quality fundamentals in mind. So the training goes only so far, right? Then it's the individual that's also responsible for ensuring that.
Thank you so much. We would like to consider ourselves as one of those tools of, training of quality leaders. So hopefully we're helping some company out there. Also, our next question, and I would like Sachin to start actually, is how can you leverage your company's stated values and pre-existing culture to create culture of quality for all departments and employees?
Awesome. So looking back, looking at Walmart's stated values, two come to mind. One of them is service to the customer. So I think that's specifically very relevant to the quality discipline. And this is sort of quoted in a number of forums within the company that customer quality is of utmost importance, and so as quality leaders or engineering leaders, it's our sort of responsibility to ensure that whenever the whatever we release to the site, it is sort of bug free, or has seamless browsing and checkout experience for our customers. So that's kind of central to everything, right? Customer comes first. We take their feedback with great importance, and the feedback comes through various channels. It may come through a customer leaving feedback on the site, or maybe through social media channels. And Sam's Club having presence online and in store, so in-store experience, right? So it's omni-channel experience. So all of that is taken into account, and that defines the sort of the customer experience. So that's one of the core values at what Walmart operates. And the other thing I wanted to say was there's another core company value, which is EDLC, everyday low cost, right? So I translate that into something which I can relate to my work is, if you have sort of mindful of the number of resources, I would say, there's not an infinite ample of resources available for you to execute on a project. So how you could use that principle to sort of breed innovation, and adopt the latest quality practices that will, help to augment new quality goals, principles within the organization. And at the same time, it also kind of boosts the skill set and the motivation within the quality organization for various individuals. So I guess, those two principles are kind of core at what we do within the quality. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fernando, what is your experience with leveraging your company's state values and pre-existing culture in the creating of quality across all departments and employees?
Well, this is something that I think is probably one of our best tools, because it's similar to what was just shared about Walmart and Nissan. Customer quality, obviously there are lots of ways to name it. Customer excellence is where it's most commonly shown, but in the value statement from the organization, which includes the employee contract, which includes partner contract, is to have customer excellence. And so what that allows us to do is to then build in programs, build in schemes that support innovation towards customer excellence, that support investment towards customer excellence. So I'd say having it included, having explicit inclusion of customer excellence in our corporate values has allowed us to really expand it throughout the organization, almost without limitation. So I consider it to be one of the integral parts of how we can improve our organization and specifically the customer quality.
Thank you so much, Rohit. How about you? What's your experience in this area?
Yeah, no, I think similar to what Fernando said. At here, we have been on a journey of transformation for the past few years. So we recently updated our company values back in 2017, which has clear imperative on our customers, our impact on our customer problems that they're trying to solve, the use cases we're trying to build. And that has really helped us to move towards, as an organization, to offer more quality culture mindset, where we have been able to use that ecosystem that our leadership has built our values, is to create an integrated here way of working, where we all look at the problems as leaders through the same lens. We have been able to create what we call it as a here-way management system, which not only helps us look at our strategic performance as well as our governance at the same lens, but it also ensured that from a quality lens of it, the metrics and the reporting aspects are standardized across and help us move towards to a much more agile program management structure where we deal with our quality issues on an ongoing basis. So the values itself, which is, as I mentioned earlier, starts from here having a quality policy, has really enabled us to move the needle in the right direction.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I would like you to start first answering the next question, and it is, what tools do you use to document and data control for both compliance and quality at here?
Yeah, so I think that's always a challenging and an interesting question. There are multiple tools that are available in the marketplace to capture. We started with, we initially had an in-house inbuilt tool to look at our integrated way of management. Then we went and acquired a tool from the industry, which is more around overall objective management. So there's a tool called Shibumi that's available that we use to look at our strategic performance. But we also have tools which are available to our product management team, which are more oriented towards the product life cycle management, which is a combination of industry off-the-shelf tool called Product Board, but we also have things like Confluence, wiki pages, and document management structure, which is through our SharePoint that we use to kind of manage our overall our data control as well as our documents as a whole.
Thank you so much. Sachin, how about you? What are the specific tools that you use to document and data the control of compliance and quality?
Yeah. Jira, Confluence, those are kind of widely used on a day-to-day basis. SharePoint as well. This is Walmart has a partnership with Microsoft OneDrive to manage all the documents. Those are largely used. I mean, we use Jira for our creating, dashboards. that would reflect quality of a given feature or a project. Use Confluence pages to communicate program status, portfolio statuses that are widely used by our program managers to send those updates across the organization. Larger initiatives such as any security initiatives, compliance related like CCPA, which is the California Privacy Act. So things like those is where program managers may use things like Microsoft Project or Excel sheets to track those the status of those initiatives. I do know that certain sections of Walmart may be using some third-party tools for compliance. But for the team that I support, we are largely a sort of Atlassian-based products, I would say, that we adopt.
Thank you so much. Fernando, how about Nissan? Do you guys have different tools or you share the same experience with here in Walmart?
Well, I certainly some of the tools we use are different. Because I'm in our global office, we kind of have purview to a variety of tools that are used by our individual markets. So it does certainly depend on the area. In the U.S., because I'm not sure about the audience today, but I would assume many are U.S. based. We do use tools for voice of the customer collection. That's through survey mechanisms and then also through social mentioning, which aggregates to some great VOC data. We use in-moment as well as urban science for in the U.S. In other markets, it does vary. I won't list specifically, but I would say a common platform across does not currently exist besides our own internal. So we did build an internal repository for customer data, and this is mostly for target tracking and achievement more than it is really taking the richness of our customers' voices and into analysis. For compliance purposes, it's also a bit complex, especially when handling customer data, because I think as probably anyone will know, the laws are different by country. And so where that data is stored, how it's shared and used, there are many limitations for that. So we typically take a macro and a micro approach. The macro approach would be looking at really KPIs and objective tracking, and then the micro would be specific anonymized verbatims from customers so that we don't ever move too far away from the customer. We're reading their exact words on particularly on issues, but also positive. And then the macro helping us to kind of steer the strategy. So from a tools perspective, it's a very wide range, but I would say our internal tools help us from the corporate management side the most.
Thank you so much. And my next question is related really with maybe the level of popularity of your department among your company, in your company. So this is it's related to the balance. How do you strike that balance between a QMS that doesn't provide adequate guidance and the one that is overly burdensome and complex? Fernando, would you start, please?
Yeah, happy to. What a great question, because I think there's really no shortage of business solution platforms, which is of course helpful when trying to manage customer quality across a large organization. A limitation is of course worded in the question, which is overly burdensome and complex. And I think maybe within tools it's less prevalent than it is across multiple tools. So one of our challenges right now is exactly what I just shared with you. We have markets who use different tools. And so simple things like reporting looks different, and the various vendors provide different reporting capabilities. So the way we kind of manage it today is what I mentioned, which is we keep our own internal reporting system. We use standardized KPIs regardless of the market, and then they will use their local tools for inputting and for the information needed, and then also, of course, for their operational practice. So back to establishing an internal tool with a common language of KPIs has helped us to strike a balance, but I don't know that there is an all-in-one solution that we can use in all markets quite yet to solve that for our in-market working teams. Interested to hear what maybe the other panelists have to share on this.
Yeah, Rohit, what are your thoughts on that?
So from a quality management system, what we have tried to do, since we are an integrated company across, we had anchored down on 2 or 3 tools as a whole from a documentation standpoint. So Confluence is our go-to documentation tool that we have brought in, so all teams are required. A matter of fact, we have used workflows in that system as a whole to make sure all processes, systems are look-alike. It's also driven by we are, as I said, a very much OEM focused company. So a lot of these structures are developed in a manner to make sure whenever we are getting audited by our third party, we are able to discuss and showcase our processes in a quality management system in an integrated manner. The second piece that we have ensured is that for engineering workflow, a common standard that is used is Jira. And within Jira, we have optimized and ensured that the DoD, which is DoD and DOR, I forget what those are from the top of my mind, the decision of ready and decision of done, it's clear. It's clearly articulated for engineering teams, so all engineering workflows are integrated in that sense. At a macro level, when we look at our quality management system, we have anchored that on SharePoint, so where the structure and the governance given to our teams are it's pretty standard in our case.
Thank you so much. And Sachin, according to your experience, where have you found that balance? Have your company found that balance between being burdensome and actually having effective mechanisms of applying quality control?
Yeah. I think Fernando was mentioning, I agree with this point. I don't think there's any tool out there sort of all-in-one encompassing all aspects of quality sort of management. So I guess the sort of the stance that we take here at Sam's Club in e-commerce is, while it's important to keep an eye on the quality metrics, quality processes, those need to be documented, those need to be adhered to on a day-to-day basis, so you never lose sight of those. But there is an increased emphasis on execution and making the process leaner, nimble, right? So there's more emphasis on close collaboration. So frequent sync-ups within the teams to ensure we're following the standards. We do have quite a few meetings on the calendars that probably emphasize the same point about quality practices. So that's kind of in a way downside, but yeah, I would say more close collaboration, sync-ups within the team. Of course, we use Jira and Confluence extensively. Everything is documented, same as what Rohit said. Everything's on Confluence. So if you want to consult anything, Confluence is the place to go and get more information. I think the tooling, there's no one tool that would support everything. We also operate within different teams in different geographical regions, and they have their own ways of managing quality. So having a common language, like what Fernando said, common KPIs, helps to align everybody in the organization. So that is important. They understand what's at stake.
And if I could add, Maria, I think there cannot be a single tool available because, as I said, depending upon the quality assurance topic one talks about, from the standards to new evolving standards, there are multiple tools that are available, and there are new requirements which are popping up in the industry that may not suffice the traditional quality assurance processes. So it will become a sort of a spaghetti of tools, but you end up anchoring on some of them, which can give you managerial information, but the rest operationally, you may have a bunch of tools that one would need to deploy depending upon the function one is involved in.
Thank you so much. Actually, this is bringing us to the next question, which is kind of to see where the power of persuasion lays within the Department of Quality, because quality is sometimes seen as an insular department. But how can quality leaders explain the value and mission of the quality department to executives, especially when pushing for a quality culture that spans the organization? Sachin, could you please try to enlighten us how that happens in your company, in your environment?
Yeah, I think that's kind of that's kind of a topic that's closer to my heart. Is quality is often sort of department is sort of in sort of viewed as in an isolated kind of way, right? There's a niche area that manages quality, and so and then vice versa, the quality members who deal with quality, they may or may not be aware of happenings outside of their organization. But I think it's more of like a perception that needs to be changed. It may not be the reality. In fact, quality is actually everyone's business, as I said at the start of the call, right? It should be infused within the company culture. So it should not be treated as a separate discipline. And it should be embedded in the life cycle from the start of the soft SDLC. And by doing so, you're able to communicate the importance of quality, and that would span across the organization. Developers, I think that's kind of the how do you bridge the gap, right, between the quality leaders and different organizations, different members in the organization, is to emphasize the importance of quality, and the quality should be brought at the table when the discussions are, or the initial discussions are happening about an initiative. So I would say that's one of the things. And the other thing I mentioned, that the other perception that may be out there is that members who are part of the quality team, they may or may not have increased awareness about other aspects of the software cycle, which is again not very true. In fact, quality team members are very sort of informed about the domain that they're working on. They have to be knowledgeable about the product area, about the product itself, and they're often the go-to person for everything related to quality about product. And they also have to be knowledgeable about taking the project all the way from inception to delivery. They are involved in each and every aspect of it. And not only just releasing, but also involved in sort of post-production, right? Once you take the feature live, how do you monitor the feature for its success? So I think kind of quality is all, it spans across all the disciplines. Is what I'd say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fernando, how about in Nissan? We heard that you have a chief quality CQO at your board, so apparently you do have a representative there. But how do you push your message of quality across the executives, and what is your experience with that?
Yes, well, in fact, we do have executive leadership dedicated to quality, which, as you can imagine, does already kind of infiltrate the entire organization. However, I think depending on where your organization is in its progress towards becoming quality focused, quality as a strategic objective, I think, is something that can be translated to any function of the organization. So if it isn't today, there are so many compelling reasons to be quality focused, and the kind of the ways to get there, I think, can be many. But at least in our business, quality does translate to growth in business, and that's financial growth, that is volume and manufacturing and output growth. But aside from that, there's real implications to the cost departments, because quality excellence does lead to cost reduction in the organization. And so I think regardless of where somebody sits, if they don't have quality as a focus area today, there's a compelling case to be made. Now, that's less relevant for us today, but I'll give you an example. As we're planning for next year's objectives, one of the things we're discussing is how do we take this step even further? How do we ensure that all leadership in the organization has quality in their individual objectives? So it isn't simply team, it isn't just department, it isn't company, but it's also individual. And particularly those that today don't have a direct role in quality, so that we really put everybody into the same boat for quality excellence.
Thank you so much. Rohit, how about here in the way you guys convey your message of quality across to your executives?
No, absolutely. So I think something Fernando said resonated, right? Quality is the key differentiator in our space. We are in a key, very crowded marketplace with key competitors, which are some of the biggest names in the world. And the differentiation that here brings in is through the quality culture it has. So one of the things that we have engaged in all our leaders understand is that building a product is imperative, but building the product with the right quality mindset, making sure it has the highest minimum amount of defects and a customer should experience as less as challenges one should have in their respective use cases is important. So one of the things that as a quality leader, my primary job is to engage and product managers, product management and development team's job is to engage with me to ensure that we constantly iterate our approach on quality to ensure we are meeting and exceeding some of the market norms we are setting. And if we don't do that, we will lose that in the marketplace. The second piece that we all anchor on is we understand as the world has changed the last 24 to almost 24 months, we are in a constant services economy where the differentiation of your particular product will come through the net customer experience, and which is defined by the quality of the product that you build. So it is imperatively designed within our mindset, and as we set out for 2022 and onwards, that is our vision to ensure we have the freshest, the richest, most comprehensive location intelligence out there, which can not only improve our customers' experience, but also give them added value through the quality that we bring in.
Thank you so much for this. And this actually was my last question. I want to thank you for this very interesting, very productive, I think very important discussion, especially due to the context of the time that we live in. The customer experience has worsened definitely for the last 2 years. So you as professionals in this area, your role is so important. And we all, and I'm talking on behalf of all customers, we really appreciate what you do. I would like to give you the opportunity to just have some leave us with some last word of wisdom or something that you want to tell to our audience. Fernando, would you want to start first?
My pleasure. Well, thank you very much for having me. Always good to spend some time talking about quality, certainly with those outside of our own organization. I guess maybe what I'd close with in just the thinking as we're trying to build a more quality-focused organization is, we're challenging ourselves to look in places we've never looked before. And so what that means is instead of just refreshing last year's KPIs, last year's tools and methods, we're pushing ourselves to look at what other industries are doing, what other companies are doing, maybe what our customers and partners are saying about us that we're not hearing or receiving today. So I would say it's part of our efforts to keep improving is to always seek out the unknown. And if we do that, I think effectively it'll help us take greater steps towards a quality focus. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to future sessions.
It was our pleasure. Thank you for being with us. Rohit, would you give us a couple of words of wisdom at the end?
Thank you, Maria. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Yes, the only thing I'll say is I from my personal experience, the last 24 months, the world has changed significantly. Our expectations, our customers' expectations, matter of fact, our employee expectations have changed. Quality practices, quality assurance, and overall customer experience has to evolve to ensure we deal with the new reality we have all started to live with. And I think Fernando said, we have to start looking at not only within our industry, but outside. And there are some new technology and practices that are there that I would encourage all of us to learn and adopt, and so we can be much more help our companies grow respectively.
Thank you so much for this and for being with us. And Sachin, you would like to conclude our conversation today?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, and thanks for having me on this engaging panel discussion. I guess I like to say that as we look forward, I think it would be important within the organizations, if they want to prioritize quality as a strategic initiative, is to sort of break these barriers between different disciplines, right? Sort of kind of what you say, a cross-pollination between this and sort of infusing quality across disciplines, whether it be a developer, a quality engineer, a product owner. There's some aspects of quality to be established at each level, and by doing so, you make accountable everyone for quality. And then, as other leaders said, you have to keep up with the latest trends. There are different dimensions of quality. So as Fernando said, things rather than refreshing the KPIs, maybe it's an opportunity to address other areas of quality and look deeper, where the actual issues lie, and attach them to your quality KPIs so that they can be met in a timely manner. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure to have the three of you with us today, and for all of you taking the time for being with us, and I hope you enjoyed our panel as much as I did. Don't forget to check out the website in a few days if you would like to listen to this or any of our previous discussions. Hope to hear from you all next month, and have a wonderful day.